At MTAC Another World, John teamed up with the SideQuest podcast to interview Robert McCollum in this awesome interview with the OSMcast.
Hello, and welcome to MTAC Another World. I am here with Robert McCollum. Robert, thank you so much for joining us.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
How's your experience at MTAC been so far?
It has been great, man. Everyone has been so friendly and chill. It's kind of like laid back. It's not crazy intensity. Everyone's just having a good time and anxious to have a conversation, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
And everyone's been lovely. It's my first time at MTAC, so.
Well, hopefully first of many.
Yeah, I love it, man. It's been great. And the thing I love also is that you have your big roles that people are going to come talk to you about, but always there's 3 or 4 obscure ones that I'm like, oh, I can't believe you even know what that is. That's so great. And I've had a lot of those moments here.
That's fantastic. Well, what are some projects that you've been working on that you can tell us about?
Well, the most recent stuff, I've not done any new Doflamingo yet from One Piece. Doflamingo is the gift that keeps on giving. It's been 18 years that I've been doing the same character now, but and I know he's coming back, but I don't know when. But I have gotten to do solo leveling, which was really cool. I've gotten to play Sung Il Hwan, which is the father of the lead character, and he has a small cameo so far, but I know there's more to come for that, and that is a huge show now. I feel like that's becoming the top runner right now on top of things. So that's cool to get to be a part of. And then I got to do a show called Dr. Stone that I really like and get to play Stanley in that. And that's a cool character. And that I also know is going to continue. It's like Stanley will continue to have a big role to play in that. And that's a really cool show. Finished up this past year, Demon Lord 2099. And that's one of the many Demon Lords that all came out at the same time. But that was cool to get to be a bad guy in that and play opposite Ian Sinclair, who's one of my oldest friends. And, we've known each other since we did a play together in 2008 and still have been performing. So it was great to get to be in the show with him again. Yeah, so keeping busy, still doing things. Occasionally, how I got reincarnated as a slime. I have a small character on that's fun. So yeah, lots of small things that pop in and out. And then just waiting. I know there's My Hero still to come. There's My Hero Vigilantes still to come, which I know Stain has a big part in. So waiting on those at any moment with bated breath to jump back in.
Fantastic. What made you first take an interest in acting?
So I was an actor as a kid. Very full of himself and boisterous, and did a lot of theater early days. And then when I went to college, it was like, okay, it's time to grow up and be serious and get a serious degree and do like sales and marketing and communications and those kind of things. Didn't study any more acting, didn't think that was a path, and then moved to Dallas to do sales and marketing and met a whole bunch of actors. It was like, wait, you can make a living as an actor in Dallas? I didn't know that was a thing. But there were so many commercials and a little bit of TV happening, and so many like ad agencies there that even if they shoot the commercials in LA or Toronto or wherever, they do the post production in Dallas. So there was a lot of voiceover work to be had. So I started working specifically with the goal just to doing commercial voiceover, and then was doing improv comedy as well, and found anime through that. I happened to be in an improv comedy troupe that was performing at the same place that Mike McFarlane was in another improv comedy troupe. And he said, hey, we do this thing up at a place called Funimation. It's anime. It's like Dragon Ball Z kind of stuff. And I'm like, that's happens here? Really? That happens in Dallas? He's like, yeah. And so started, paid nothing. It was not a career move. It was just a fun thing to do because I thought the shows were cool. And it was this weird little nerd niche thing that nobody paid attention to. Nobody cared about. Nobody listened to the English dub. It was just a thing they had to have on the DVDs in order to sell them to Walmart and Sam's and places like that. You had to have an English language track. So they just cranked it out as an assembly line in this tiny upstairs room of a bank building in North Richland Hills outside of Dallas. And then to see that 25 years later coming into this huge industry that it has become now, and that there's anime conventions like MTAC all over the country every weekend of the year. I mean, we're here on Easter weekend, and it is full of anime fans coming out and hanging out with each other. So it's awesome to have gotten to see it grow from kind of nothing to the world that it is now.
Absolutely. What was your first exposure to anime?
So probably watching like Vampire Hunter D and the things that come on late night.
Peak.
Yeah, and Bleach and Naruto, of course, I was aware of. Dragon Ball, you were aware of all the time, but kind of I wasn't a huge fan because it wasn't easily accessible. Like you had to catch it whenever it came on. Like there were no DVDs of it back then. You know, there was some bargain bin stuff you could find in VHS tape bins sometimes if you wanted to check it out, but otherwise you just had to catch it. So again, never thought about that as a thing one could do as your job for a long time. It was just like, I was aware of it, saying I liked also like Aeon Flux and some of the early, not really anime, but MTV did some stuff that was just like animation. And I was like very interested in that, but had no idea it was like something you could do. And then to find out that Dallas, Texas was a hub for dubbing. Dallas and Houston were two of the big places at that time. I'm like, This is weird. This is not what I expected, but it was cool to just get to stumble into that one.
Awesome. Who would you say has had the biggest impact on your career?
Well, Mike McFarland, for many reasons, probably is right at the top of the list. So he was the original Master Roshi. He was the one, like I said, that told me about it and got me involved in it in the first place. But he's one of the top directors at Crunchyroll. So he's the voice dub director of Attack on Titan. He directed many of the seasons of One Piece. He's the one that cast me as Doflamingo. So any of the big roles that I have had, probably in one way or another, have come through Mike McFarland. And he's also a great director. So he was part of what I call the leveling up, when anime dubs went from a thing that nobody cared about to, okay, we're going to start getting better writers and better translations and really start directing it and thinking of it as a standalone art form that we're going to care about. And he was the kind of the beginning of that. He cares passionately about it and really, makes sure that every role and every has a point of view and is doing something interesting. And so, yeah, he would be one of the top people, I would say.
What's the biggest challenge for you as an actor?
Biggest challenge? I guess it's the same for any career, but it's time management. Like I tell everybody, like you can't be an anime voice actor for a living. It can be one of the side hustles on the side hustle on the side hustle of the things that you do. So to live full time as a creative, and I've been lucky enough to like leave the real job in the early 2000s and stay in the creative world, means you're juggling so many hats. I'm a commercial director. I'm a writer of corporate training materials. I work on a series in the UK called The Inside Man that is corporate training hacker show. Voicing the new roles and new shows that you're doing, also going to conventions. So it's the time management of all those and like figuring out what hat do I wear at this time. I was for a number of years doing podcasts, did a narrative podcast called 1865 that went really big. It was a history narrative podcast. And one of the first narrative podcasts to break 1,000 was called Terms many, many years ago. That was a narrative podcast right when all of the narratives were kind of starting. So yeah, it's just figuring out how to keep all of the balls juggling and focusing on it when it's time to put on that hat and then being able to shift gears and focus on something else. It's probably the biggest challenge. Acting
is such a competitive field. A success. I think Rico said a successful actor, books maybe 5% of the roles that they really go after. So what keeps you motivated?
Well, it's mostly I say I like to swim in this pool. Meaning I like these people, the people that I get to work with. So even if you're dealing with a lot of rejection, like when you get to do it or when you get to come to conventions like this, I like to hang out with these people. The writers, the directors, the other actors, just people in the creative community. It's worth the rejection to get to swim in this pool with these people. It's like, or this sandbox to be the other thing. Like, I like this sandbox. So no matter how big my sandcastle is, if I get to play with these other people, it's worth it. But yeah, it's at a certain point, you stop paying attention to your auditions. You just send them out and forget about them. Like the biggest mistake you can make is to pay a lot of attention to how big this show might be or this opportunity might be, because then you'll drive yourself crazy thinking about it and like, oh, it's been 2 days, I haven't heard anything. Oh, it's been a week. Do you think that's cast? Has that been cast yet? Is that already done? Did I miss it? Oh, and if you just try your hardest at the audition. Think of that as the end product of that stage. Like, my job is to do a great audition as best as I can to connect with this character and then send that off, and that job is done. The audition is sent, and then don't think about it again until you get a call. Sometimes we don't even remember now. Like, I don't even remember auditioning for that. That was 4 months ago. And where did that come from?
I was going to ask, like, have you had, like, where they go, hey, you got the part, the audition was great, you go, what audition was that?
Yeah. Or they'll come in, because sometimes when we audition, we'll send, like, 3 or 4 takes of the same, 3 or 4 different approaches. Yeah. And then they'll come in and be like, great, we loved it. We love what you did with the audition, do that. And I'm like, can you play it back for me? Because, hey, I don't know which one you liked of the ones I did. And also, I have done 20 other auditions since then. I don't remember it at all. It's also great because, like, with so many shows revamping or coming back or getting a reboot, like, characters you did 15 years ago, you get called back in and you're like, I don't know what this sounds like. Can you play it for me? I got to do Hirudegarn, which was a giant monster in one of the Dragon Ball movies. And they pulled me back in because he's now in one of the games. And I'm like, great, can you play a reference? And they're like, we don't have any reference. This was back in the days of 3/4 inch tape to tape. There was no computer reference. They couldn't find it online. They couldn't find it on YouTube, anywhere. They're like, just make some growling noises. We're going to pitch shift it anyway. I'm sure it's going to be fine. So there's a new Hirudegarn, but if it's different from the old Hirudegarn, to the fans out there, I apologize. I have no control.
The one Hirudegarn fan's like,
what? You ruined it!
Speaking of niche roles that you had, in Initial D 4th Stage, you played Wataru Akiyama.
Yes.
He's, the turbo-happy underdog who isn't afraid to take the long way uphill. Do you prefer uphill battles, or do you go downhill with style?
Well, it depends on the character. I love both. First of all, also, I got to do him again because he's back in the new show as a, commentator.
Yeah, yes, we just were talking about that. Yes. And we're like,
he's back.
I mean, he is probably the only real friend that Akemi has.
He also has way less swagger now. Like, he's gotten old and mellow, and we all have. Mm-hmm. Like, he doesn't have the pot belly that I have, but none of us are looking as good as we did back then. But I will say, like, the aspiring hero that is striving to overcome is a great character to have, but it's also a lot of work because they are screaming and fighting and pushing. If you're a villain that's super powerful, like, they don't scream until everything's gone terrible at the very end of their arc. For the lesson, they can just be like, ugh, and the building falls down. Like, that's the guy you want to be. I realized early on, in terms of vocal stress, you want to be the super powerful bad guy instead of the young hero trying to prove himself. I mean, just think how much, Dallas Reed has to scream in Black Clover. He's screaming all the time. Julius doesn't scream. Julius is chill.
I mean, so that kind of leads into my other question, which is, you've done everything from anime to PSA narration. Is it harder to make a car commercial sound exciting or to scream for 30 minutes as a shonen character?
You definitely have to put a lot more legitimate acting effort into an anime character that you care about and want to tell a full story. Like, you don't have to... Talking about Taco Bueno is not that emotional a journey for you. But also, I know a lot of really, really talented actors, stage actors and film actors, that cannot do voiceover to save their life because they cannot lie and pretend to care. And I've never had any artistic integrity in that way. Being super excited about whatever the thing is to be in. Because, like, that's part of the game. It's like, how can I figure out how to be genuinely excited and sound genuinely excited about this and find something that I'm actually... Why it's good to buy, a Fiat. Like, the new Fiats are amazing. They're coming to America. It's going to be great. Well, I was excited about that because it paid the down payment on my house. But yeah, it's a very different game. And also just realizing, like, there are times when you are mining the emotional truth of the situation, and there are times when you're just playing with your voice. Mm-hmm. I'm going to make it go up a little bit here and down a little bit here, and a lot of the voiceover commercial side is about that. It's just playing with your instrument as opposed to the emotional integrity of it.
Well, yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. Before you were in full-time voice acting, you were a high school English teacher in Texas. Do you ever miss teaching?
I was actually not. That is a myth.
Really?
That is on, I think, on Wikipedia. I'm not sure where that is.
Yeah.
I was not a high school. I was a much less noble. I was a marketing director for a stock brokerage firm.
Weird. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I was like,
that is out there. Many people have asked that question, and it is completely not true.
Whoa.
My mother was a high school English teacher, and I don't know if somebody like conflated that, but somebody took that, and now it lives out there.
Wow. And
I respect teachers and wish that I was one of them.
Yeah.
You're a better person than I am if you're a high school English teacher in Texas.
that would make sense. Yeah. Well,
Other questions, Kiko. What you got?
Well, I think we'll let you go on this one. I've been asking everybody this because the theme of this MTAC is another world. So if you had to be transported to another world, where would you go?
Wow. United States just after Obama was elected? I don't know. Does that count as another world? But in terms of an anime world, I would.
It doesn't have to be anime.
Yeah, it could be a book.
I am. That's a really good question. Because the shows that I loved getting to be a part of are worlds I absolutely do not want to live in.
Right.
Like, I don't want to go to Psychopath's universe at all. That sounds horrible.
Yeah.
But let's say I am still a huge Star Wars nerd, and I really love Andor. Although that's like a terrible world as well.
Yeah.
That's a world in chaos.
I don't know if I want to live through that.
Yeah, like the exciting stories are in places of chaos and trauma. So it's like, what's just a nice and relaxing one? There's a series of books called The Rivers of London that I love the audiobook reader on, and I love it. And it is a series where magic exists in London, and there's actually a department of the London police that manages magic and keeps it quiet. And that is a cool world because like the spirits of all of the rivers have the power. So even the rivers that have been carried over and, buried by giant buildings in London, like the owner of that building is actually the spirit god of the river. And I'm like, that's kind of cool. All right, I could get into that. So that would be my world. Baron Abramovich is the writer, and it would be The Rivers of London.
Excellent. Well, Robert, thank you so much. This has been wonderful. Really do appreciate your time.
Thank you guys for having me out, and thanks for bringing me to Nashville.
Yeah.
And that was the interview. Hopefully you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed recording it. Thank you once again, so many thank yous to both MTAC and Robert McCollum for facilitating this interview. You can find more of Robert's McCollum, besides, in the anime and all the things that he does, at Rob McCollum at Instagram. You can also find MTAC at mtac.net, as well as MTAC on various social media platforms at MTAC, MTAC. You can find John at J5 is Live on Blue Sky, and our pals over at the SideQuest Pod over at Linktree /the SideQuest Pod. I'm Basil. I edited this thing, but don't worry about me. You can find, of course, all our stuff at the OSMcast, OSMcast.com. Anyways, thank you again for listening. Thank you again for MTAC for letting us do this, and for Rob for talking with us. And until next time, we're out.
Done.
Done.
We did it. We saved anime, guys. Good job.
Congratulations.